found a tube of lubricant hidden in my wife's underwear drawer. I knew Susan was cheating. But when I discovered it was with Derek, our daughter's husband, my world utterly collapsed. Susan wasn't just a cheating wife. She was a woman willing to kill her husband after nearly 40 years of marriage. They wanted to play games with my life. Fine. What I did to them next made them both scream. Before I tell you exactly what I did to Derek and Susan, please subscribe to my channel and let me know in the comments which city you're watching from. Stories like this need to be shared to warn others about predators hiding in plain sight. My name is Jim Patterson, and I'm about to tell you how I discovered my wife of 38 years was planning to kill me for my life insurance money. But it wasn't just the betrayal that nearly destroyed me. It was finding out she was doing it with our own son-in-law. The moment I knew something was wrong came on a Friday afternoon when I found that tube of personal lubricant hidden in Susan's underwear drawer. For weeks, my wife had been acting strange. Susan, my blonde, 59-year-old wife, who used to greet me after my shifts, suddenly couldn't look me in the eye. She was always on her phone, texting someone, and hiding the screen when I walked by. She started wearing expensive perfume again, something she hadn't done in years. Then there was Derek Martinez, our son-in-law. The 33-year-old landscaper, married to our daughter Jessica, had been showing up at our Tampa home constantly, always with excuses. But Derek only came when I was supposed to be at work late. That Friday, I came home early with a migraine and found Derek's white pickup truck parked across the street. I walked quietly into our house and heard voices from the kitchen. Susan's laugh, but different, younger, flirtatious. "You're terrible," I heard her say, followed by Derek's deep chuckle. When I walked in, Susan jumped up so fast her chair scraped the floor. Derek was leaning against my counter, drinking coffee from my favorite mug. "Jim," Susan's voice was too bright. "You're home early." Derek flashed his easy smile. "Just checking that irrigation system, Jim." The explanation was reasonable, but my gut was screaming. Susan's flushed cheeks, the way they'd both startled. The intimate look that passed between them as Derek left, promising their conversation would continue later. That night, Susan was unusually attentive, making my favorite pot roast. Her kindness didn't comfort me. It felt performative, like she was overcompensating for a devastating secret. The next morning, searching for my reading glasses, I quietly opened Susan's dresser drawer. My fingers brushed against something that didn't belong. A tube of expensive, high-end personal lubricant, still in its original packaging. I stared at it. Susan and I hadn't been intimate in over 2 years. Why did she have this? And why was it hidden? I put everything back, my hands trembling. The woman sleeping peacefully beside me, the woman I'd loved for nearly 4 decades, suddenly felt like a complete stranger. And I had no idea how much worse it was about to get. That discovery changed everything. I needed concrete evidence. Monday morning, I kissed Susan goodbye, her lips cold, her eyes fixed on her phone. During lunch, I bought a small digital voice recorder with voice activation technology. I paid cash. That afternoon, I called Susan. "Hey, honey, I'm working late tonight. Inventory in the garden center." I heard the unmistakable relief in her voice. At 5:30, I parked blocks away and walked back. I felt like a spy in my own life. I heard the shower running upstairs. Susan was getting ready for something. Working quickly, I tucked the recorder behind our living room bookshelf, between photo albums we never looked at. In 38 years of marriage, I'd never spied on Susan, but finding that lubricant had shattered something fundamental. When she came downstairs, she looked stunning. Makeup, styled hair, a dress I hadn't seen in months. "Just meeting girlfriends for dinner," she blushed. "Linda and Carol from yoga." I nodded and kissed her cheek, tasting expensive perfume. As I drove away, I watched our house in the rearview mirror. Within 10 minutes, Derek's white pickup truck turned onto our street. At 7:15, he walked up to our front door. Susan answered immediately, smiling, and closed the door quickly behind him. I sat in my truck for an hour, watching the drawn curtains. Tomorrow, I would have answers. Tomorrow, I would know the truth. But I was terrified of what that truth might be. The next evening, I sat in my truck, staring at the small digital recorder. 2 hours and 37 minutes of recorded conversation. I was terrified to press play. I put in the earphones and hit the button. First, silence. Then the sound of our front door opening. "I was starting to think you weren't coming," Susan's voice, soft, intimate. "Sorry, baby. Had to finish a job in Westchase." Derek's voice, equally intimate. The way he called her baby made my stomach turn. Then Derek's voice became serious. "So, did you call the insurance company?" My blood went cold. "I did," Susan replied. "The policy is definitely $500,000, and I'm the sole beneficiary." "Good. And you're sure he doesn't suspect anything?" "Jim? He's clueless. Thinks I'm just going through menopause or something. He has no idea I know about his high blood pressure medication." I pressed pause, my hands shaking. Blood pressure medication. I didn't have high blood pressure. I hit play again. "The pills I got from my contact at the pharmacy look identical to his regular ones," Derek was saying. "But these will gradually increase his blood pressure over time. Make it look like a natural heart attack." "How long?" Susan asked. "Maybe 3 months, 4 at the most. At his age, with his stress levels, no one will question it, especially after I start adding the extra sodium to his food." I ripped the earphones out, fighting the urge to vomit. They weren't just having an affair. They were planning to murder me. $500,000, Susan said dreamily. "We could disappear to Costa Rica, buy that little beach house. And your daughter won't suspect anything." "Jessica. She's too busy with her paramedic job to pay attention. Besides, she likes you. Thinks you're good for me after all these years with boring old Jim." The casual way she dismissed our 38-year marriage, the way she called me boring old Jim, cut deeper than any physical pain. I rushed home and went straight to our medicine cabinet. My blood pressure pills looked exactly the same as always, but now I knew they weren't. That night, I flushed every pill down the toilet and lay awake while Susan slept peacefully beside me. The woman who was planning my murder was sleeping 2 feet away, dreaming about money bought with my death. But they'd made one crucial mistake. They'd underestimated Jim Patterson. I'd spent 40 years solving problems, and I was about to handle the biggest crisis of my life. They wanted to play games with my life. Fine, but I was going to change the rules. After discovering their murder plot, I couldn't just wait to be poisoned. I needed to know everything about Derek Martinez. If I was going to fight back, I needed ammunition. The next morning, I called in sick to Home Depot and parked outside Derek's apartment complex. I followed him. His first stop wasn't a landscaping job. It was a Publix grocery store. He came out with a small bag, shopping like he was buying for someone else. From Publix, Derek drove to Palmyra, an upscale neighborhood. He pulled into the driveway of a beautiful Mediterranean house. I watched through binoculars. An older woman, maybe early 60s, silver hair, expensive clothes, answered the door. She hugged Derek intimately, not like a client. The hug lasted too long. Her hand lingered on his chest. It was Mrs. Elena Rodriguez, our neighbor from 3 houses down. Derek carried the grocery bag inside and didn't come out for over an hour. When he emerged, his hair was messed up and his shirt wrinkled. Mrs. Rodriguez stood in her doorway wearing a silk robe, waving goodbye with the same dreamy smile I'd seen on Susan's face. My stomach dropped. Derek wasn't just cheating with my wife. He was running an operation. I followed him to Hyde Park, where another older woman greeted him with intimate familiarity. Then to Westchase, where a third woman practically pulled him inside. By noon, I'd watched Derek visit 4 different women, all older, all wealthy, all receiving the same intimate attention. Derek Martinez wasn't just a landscaper. He was a professional gigolo, targeting older women with money. Susan wasn't special. She was just another mark in his sugar, mommy hunting operation. Another lonely older woman with assets to exploit. But Susan was different. Susan had a husband with a $500,000 life insurance policy, who could be murdered to make Derek rich enough to disappear forever. That afternoon, I drove to Mrs. Rodriguez's house and knocked. She answered in the same silk robe. "Elena, I need to ask you something. Are you involved with Derek Martinez?" Her face went white, then red. "I saw him here this morning. Elena, Derek is married to my daughter, and he's having an affair with my wife. You're not the only one." She staggered backward, gripping the doorframe. "That's impossible. Derek loves me." "Has he asked you for money? Access to your accounts?" Mrs. Rodriguez broke down, crying on her doorstep, revealing the true scope of his operation. "He said his landscaping business was struggling," she sobbed. "I've given him $15,000 over 6 months." My blood boiled. "What about your will, Elena?" Her face crumpled. "He helped me update it last month, made him a beneficiary for $25,000. Derek wasn't just stealing money. He was positioning himself to profit from their deaths. Over the next 2 days, I investigated Derek's other victims. Margaret Chen had given him over $30,000. Patricia Williams was paying his rent. Linda Foster had bought him a new truck as an engagement gift. Each woman thought she was Derek's only love. Each was being financially exploited and manipulated into changing legal documents in Derek's favor. But Susan was the biggest prize. She wasn't just giving money. She was helping commit murder for $500,000. I estimated he'd stolen over $100,000, with potentially millions more in inheritance money. This couldn't just be about revenge on Susan and Derek for trying to kill me. This had to be about protecting all of Derek's victims. Derek thought he was smart, but he'd targeted the wrong man's wife. The plan forming in my mind was elegant in its simplicity. Derek had used intimacy as a weapon. I was going to use that same intimacy to destroy him publicly and humiliatingly, ensuring he could never victimize another woman. I spent the weekend gathering supplies. The centerpiece of my plan was industrial superglue, the kind we used for heavy construction projects at Home Depot. Once it bonded, it required professional medical intervention to separate. It would be painful, humiliating, and impossible to hide. But the glue was just the beginning. I needed maximum public exposure. I needed witnesses. I needed emergency responders. I needed the entire neighborhood to see what Derek and Susan really were. The smoke detector plan came to me while reviewing our store's fire safety protocols. A triggered smoke alarm would bring the fire department. My daughter, Jessica, was a paramedic supervisor. There was a good chance she'd be on the responding team. This was the part that made me pause. Jessica would have to see her mother and her husband in the most humiliating situation imaginable. But Jessica was also Derek's victim. She deserved the truth. It would hurt her, but it would also free her. I gathered the industrial superglue, a small Bluetooth speaker to simulate screams for help, and a remote trigger system I built. Derek and Susan felt safe and comfortable using our house when I was supposedly working late. That carelessness was going to be their downfall. The beauty of the plan was its simplicity. I wouldn't have to confront them or prove anything in court. The evidence would be literally stuck to their bodies. Monday morning, I walked into Home Depot. My first stop was our commercial supply room, industrial superglue. The label warned that skin contact required immediate medical attention. Perfect. The glue was clear, odorless, with the same consistency as personal lubricant. I borrowed a small Bluetooth speaker and downloaded emergency call audio files. During lunch, I installed a secondary smoke detector in our living room, identical to our existing system, but connected to a remote trigger I could activate from outside. Susan and Derek met every Tuesday. Tomorrow was Tuesday. That evening, I tested everything in my garage. Remote trigger, perfect. Superglue tube looked identical to Susan's hidden lubricant. I practiced the sequence. Wait for Derek. Give them 30 minutes. Trigger smoke alarm. Activate distress sounds. Return as concerned husband when emergency vehicles arrived. Tuesday morning, I called Susan. Honey, I'll be really late tonight. Complete inventory of the garden center. Oh, that's fine, she said, excitement barely hidden. I'll just watch TV and go to bed early. Don't wait up. And Susan, I love you. Pause. I love you too, Jim. Probably the last lie we'd ever tell each other. At 3, I parked 2 blocks from home. Derek's white pickup appeared at 3:15, right on schedule. He had no idea he was walking into a trap 40 years in the making. I waited 30 minutes, heart pounding. Then, I reached for my phone, and the app that would change everything. The moment had arrived. I waited until 4 calmed, giving them time to get comfortable. Then I quietly approached our house through the backyard, using my spare key to enter through the kitchen door. I could hear voices and laughter from upstairs, relaxed, intimate sounds of 2 people who thought they were completely safe. Moving silently through my own house felt surreal. My hands were steady. First stop, our bedroom. Susan's underwear drawer was slightly open. I found the original tube exactly where I discovered it weeks ago. I unscrewed the cap and emptied the clear gel into our bathroom sink. Then I refilled the tube with industrial superglue, screwing the cap back on carefully. The substitution was perfect. I placed the tube back exactly where Susan had hidden it and moved to position my electronic devices. The Bluetooth speaker went behind our living room couch. The modified smoke detector was blinking innocently on our ceiling. I could still hear them upstairs. Susan's girlish laugh. Derek's confident voice. 2 people who thought they were getting away with murder. I slipped back out through the kitchen and returned to my truck, 2 blocks away. The substituted lubricant waited in Susan's drawer like a time bomb. The emergency response system was ready to activate at the touch of a button. Now all I had to do was wait. Wait for them to get comfortable. Wait for them to use Susan's special preparation. Wait for the industrial adhesive to do its work. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows. Nobody had any idea that in a few minutes, our quiet Tampa suburb was about to witness the scandal of the decade. At 4:30, the sounds from our house changed. Music playing. The laughter grew softer. They were moving toward the moment that would destroy them both. At 5 aung, the music stopped. The house went quiet, except for muffled voices from our bedroom. I knew what was happening. "You're so beautiful," I heard Derek's voice drift through our open window. At 5:15, I heard Susan's drawer open. the moment I'd been waiting for. "I got something special for us," she said, her voice playful. "You always think of everything," Derek replied. For several minutes, there were only soft, intimate sounds. Then, at 5:23, everything changed. "Wait," Derek's voice suddenly tense. "Something feels wrong." "What do you mean?" Susan asked. "I can't. This isn't right. We're stuck." "Stuck? What are you talking about? It was just lubricant." Susan's voice rose to panic. "Well, it's not working like lubricant. We can't separate." I could hear them struggling, their voices escalating from confusion to fear to outright panic. The industrial superglue was doing exactly what it was designed to do, creating an unbreakable bond that would require professional medical intervention to dissolve. "Do something," Susan screamed. "I'm trying, but every time I move it gets worse. This can't be happening." Derek yelled. Their panic was music to my ears. For weeks, they'd been calm and confident, planning my death. Now they were learning what it felt like to be trapped with no escape. But their real humiliation hadn't even started yet. I sat in my truck, listening to their panicked voices. It was time for the real show. I opened the app on my phone and pressed the button. Immediately, the modified smoke detector in our living room began shrieking. The piercing alarm cut through the quiet Tuesday afternoon like a knife. Then, I activated the Bluetooth speaker and pressed play on the audio file I'd prepared. Suddenly, terrifying sounds of people screaming for help began broadcasting from inside our house. "Help us, fire, we're trapped." The recorded voices sounded desperate, authentic. "Please, someone call 911. We can't get out." The combination of the smoke alarm and the screaming created exactly the emergency scenario I'd planned. Within seconds, neighbors began emerging from their houses. Mrs. Rodriguez dropped her garden hose and ran toward our house. Mr. Chen from across the street grabbed his phone. "I'm calling 911. Fire department." "There's a house fire on Maple Street with people trapped inside." Within minutes, half the neighborhood was gathered on our front lawn, staring at our house with horror and concern. The beautiful irony was that Derek and Susan could hear everything happening outside, but they were in no position to call for help or explain. They were literally stuck together in our bedroom, trying desperately to separate before anyone discovered them. The neighbors were confused. "Where's the smoke?" Mrs. Rodriguez asked. "Listen, you can hear people screaming inside," Mr. Chen shouted back. The recorded distress calls continued, creating the perfect illusion. Then the sirens began. First one, then two, then what sounded like half the Tampa Fire Department racing down our street. Red trucks, ambulances, police cars, the full emergency response I'd orchestrated. And leading the convoy was Rescue Unit 12, Jessica's unit. I watched my daughter jump out of the passenger seat, her paramedic supervisor uniform crisp, her face focused and determined. She had no idea she was about to walk into the most devastating moment of her life. I started my truck and began driving slowly toward our house, ready to play my role as the shocked and concerned husband who'd just arrived home to find his house surrounded by emergency vehicles. The trap was sprung, the audience was assembled, and the show was about to begin. Jessica stood at our front door, her paramedic training taking complete control. "Fire department, we need entry now," she called to Captain Morrison. The sledgehammer crashed against our front door. Jessica led her medical team inside. "Hello, fire department. Where are you? Call out if you can hear us." From upstairs came Derek's muffled, desperate voice. "Up here, bedroom. We need help." Jessica's head snapped up. That voice was familiar. Too familiar. "Second floor, master bedroom," she called to her team, taking the stairs two at a time. She reached our bedroom door and pushed it open. What she saw made her freeze completely. Derek, her husband Derek, was in bed with Susan, her mother Susan. They were both naked, clearly panicked, and somehow physically connected in a way that made no sense. For a moment, Jessica's mind simply couldn't process what she was seeing. Her professional training told her these were two people in medical distress. Her personal reality told her this was impossible. "Jessica," Derek's voice was barely a whisper. "I can explain." "We're stuck," Susan said, not meeting her daughter's eyes. Something went wrong. Jessica stood in the doorway, her medical bag in one hand, staring at the two people who had just destroyed her entire world. Behind her, Captain Morrison appeared. "What's the situation?" Jessica's voice failed her. Captain Morrison looked over her shoulder, and his expression changed immediately. "Oh, hell. This is a medical situation." Jessica's training finally kicked in, overriding her personal shock. She stepped into the room, her voice becoming coldly professional. "We need acetone and medical adhesive remover from the ambulance," she called down. "Bring skin separation equipment and pain management supplies." Derek tried to reach for her. "Jessica, please listen to me." She stepped back, avoiding his touch. Just don't talk right now." Susan was crying, but Jessica couldn't tell if it was from physical pain or emotional distress. "How long have you been like this?" Jessica asked, forcing herself to gather information. "About an hour," Derek replied. "We tried everything." As her team brought up the medical supplies, Jessica worked with mechanical precision. She was literally pulling apart the two people who had torn her family apart. Shift back to the exterior and Jim's performance. While Jessica worked upstairs, I played my role perfectly outside. The crowd of neighbors had grown larger, and word was spreading like wildfire. "I just can't believe this," Mrs. Rodriguez whispered. "Susan and Derek, right under Jim's nose. That poor man." I stood among them, the picture of a devastated husband. "I don't understand any of this," I said, my voice breaking just enough to sound authentic. "Derek's been helping with yard work for months. Susan said they barely spoke." People were pulling out their phones, recording everything. By tomorrow morning, this scandal would be all over Tampa social media. "Here they come," someone in the crowd shouted. The front door opened, and Jessica emerged, her face a mask of professional composure that couldn't quite hide her personal devastation. Behind her, two paramedics wheeled out a stretcher. Derek was on it, covered by a white sheet, but his face was visible and bright red with humiliation. He couldn't look at anyone in the crowd, especially not at me. The neighbors pressed closer. The show had only just begun. Camera phones flashed from every direction. "Derek Martinez," Mrs. Rodriguez called out loudly. "How could you do this to Jessica, to this family?" Derek turned his face away, but there was nowhere to hide. The entire neighborhood was witnessing his ultimate walk of shame. A second stretcher appeared with Susan, also covered, but clearly conscious and mortified. She was crying, not from physical pain, but from the devastating humiliation of being caught. "Susan Patterson," Mrs. Williams announced loudly enough for everyone to hear. "I am absolutely shocked after everything Jim has done for you." The crowd murmured agreement, their sympathy clearly with me. I had become the victim, the wronged husband, the man who deserved everyone's support. "Jessica," I called out, as the stretchers were loaded into separate ambulances. "What hospital are you taking them to?" She looked at me with eyes full of pain and confusion. "Tampa General, Dad. I'm so sorry. None of us did, sweetheart. None of us could have known. As the ambulances pulled away, Captain Morrison approached. Sir, for our report, we didn't find any evidence of an actual fire. The smoke detector appears to have malfunctioned. Maybe they were the ones calling for help, I suggested, when they got stuck like that. 2 hours later, I sat in Tampa General's waiting room, playing the concerned husband perfectly. Jessica sat beside me, emotionally drained. How are they? I asked, putting my arm around her. Physically fine, she said quietly. Doctors used acetone and solvents to separate them. Some skin irritation, but no permanent damage. And emotionally? Jessica laughed bitterly. Mom won't look at me. Derek keeps trying to explain. I squeezed her shoulder. Dad, did you have any suspicion at all? None, I said, feigning confusion. Derek was around helping with yard work, but I thought he was just being helpful. Your mother seemed different lately, but I figured it was work stress. She accepted my explanation. They were keeping them overnight. Room 214 for Susan, 216 for Derek. I found Susan's room and knocked softly. She was staring at the ceiling and started crying when she saw me. Jim, I'm so sorry. I never meant for this to happen. How long, Susan? I asked, playing hurt. 6 months, she whispered. But Derek said he loved me. What about our marriage? I thought maybe you'd be happier without me. We haven't been close in years. A nurse entered with a small tube. Mrs. Patterson, apply this healing gel to any skin irritation. I should let you rest, I said, standing. Please don't hate me. I could never hate you, Susan. I'm just very hurt. I kissed her forehead and left. Once in the hallway, I ducked into a supply closet I'd noticed earlier. From my jacket, I pulled out concentrated capsaicin cream, industrial strength, from Home Depot's pest control section, nearly identical to the healing gel the nurse had delivered. I waited 10 minutes, then slipped back into Susan's room. She was dozing. The healing gel sat exactly where she'd left it. Working quickly, I switched the tubes. The capsaicin cream looked identical to the medical gel. Susan would never notice until she applied it to her irritated skin. I pocketed the real gel and left silently. Phase 2 was in motion. Derek deserved the same treatment. I walked down the hall to room 216. Derek was awake, staring at his phone. Jim, he said, looking up with shame and fear. I don't know what to say. Derek, I trusted you. I welcomed you into our family. How could you do this to Jessica? To me? It just happened, he said weakly. Susan and we connected. I never meant to hurt anyone. A nurse entered with an identical tube of healing gel. Mr. Martinez, for any skin irritation from the adhesive removal. Derek took the tube and set it on his bedside table. I continued our conversation for a few more minutes, playing the wounded father-in-law. When I was sure Derek was sufficiently distracted by guilt, I excused myself. I left his room and waited in the hallway until the staff were busy. Then I slipped back into Derek's room. He dozed off, exhausted. I quickly switched his healing gel with another tube of concentrated capsaicin cream. Now, both of them would experience the burning consequences of their betrayal. I returned to the waiting area and sat with Jessica, maintaining my role as the devastated family patriarch. An hour later, the screaming began. Help! Something's wrong! It's burning! Susan's voice from room 214, high-pitched with panic. Seconds later, Derek's voice from 216. My skin! Call the nurse! It's acid! Nurse! The gel! Something's wrong with this gel! Jessica jumped up immediately, her medical training kicking in. That's Mom! We rushed toward the rooms as nurses and doctors converged. I followed behind, playing the concerned husband while secretly enjoying every moment. Susan was writhing in her hospital bed, tears streaming down her face, desperately trying to wipe something off her skin. "The gel!" she screamed. "I applied the healing gel, and it's like fire. Make it stop." In the next room, Derek was having an identical reaction, his face contorted in agony as he tried to remove the capsaicin cream that was now burning his irritated skin. "Get me milk," Jessica shouted, recognizing the symptoms. "And cooking oil. This looks like capsaicin exposure." The medical staff worked frantically. Susan and Derek were both crying from the pain, their skin bright red where they had applied my special healing gel. "The pain should subside in about 30 minutes, Dr. Martinez told them. "But this is highly unusual. We'll need to report this to the manufacturer." I stood in the hallway, watching the chaos with deep satisfaction. The industrial-strength capsaicin was delivering a burning reminder of their betrayal. "How are you holding up, Dad?" Jessica asked. "I just don't understand how any of this happened," I replied, shaking my head sadly. "First the affair, now this medical accident. It's like everything is falling apart." As the medical team continued treating Susan and Derek's burns, I noticed commotion at the elevator. Mrs. Rodriguez had arrived, looking agitated and determined. She marched straight toward us. "Jim," she called out, "I heard about what happened today, about Derek and Susan being caught together." "Elena, this really isn't the time," I said gently. "No, Jim, this is the time, because I have something very important to tell you about Derek Martinez." Jessica looked up from consulting with the doctors. "Mrs. Rodriguez, what do you mean?" Elena looked toward Derek's room, where his moans of pain were still audible. "I mean, your husband isn't who you think he is, Jessica. And Jim, you're not Derek's only victim." The hallway went quiet. Mrs. Rodriguez looked directly at Jessica. "Your husband has been having an affair with me for 8 months. He told me he loved me, that he'd leave you. He took $15,000 from me for his struggling business." Jessica staggered backward. "That's impossible." "After hearing about today, I started making calls," Elena continued, pulling out her phone. "Margaret Chen, Patricia Williams, Linda Foster. Derek has been dating all of them." Jessica leaned against the wall. "How many women?" "At least 6 that I have found. Margaret gave him over $30,000. Patricia's been paying his rent for 8 months. Linda bought him a truck, thinking it was an engagement gift." From Derek's room came another moan, but now he sounded like he could hear every word. As if summoned, 2 more women appeared at the elevator, Margaret Chen and Patricia Williams. "I think we need to compare notes about Derek Martinez," I said gently. For the next hour, Derek's victims shared their stories. The pattern was identical. Charm wealthy older women, then slowly ask for money. "He helped me update my will," Linda Foster admitted quietly. "Made him a $25,000 beneficiary. $50,000 for me," Margaret said. When Patricia mentioned Derek having keys to her house and bank access, Jessica finally spoke. "We need to call the police." "Already did," Elena said. "Detective Morrison is on his way. This is systematic fraud." The elevator opened. Detective Morrison stepped out, badge visible. Derek's con game was officially over. Detective Morrison was a no-nonsense veteran cop. He listened to each woman's story, taking detailed notes. "Mr. Martinez," he said, entering Derek's hospital room, "I need to speak with you about allegations of fraud and conspiracy." Derek, still recovering from the capsaicin burns, tried to sit up. "I don't know what you're talking about." "These women, They gave me money willingly for a landscaping business that doesn't exist, Detective Morrison replied. We've already checked. Your business license expired 2 years ago. No legitimate income. I watched from the hallway as Derek's face went pale. His smooth charm meant nothing when faced with legal consequences. And then there's the matter of the life insurance policy, the detective continued. We have recordings of you and Mrs. Patterson discussing plans to murder her husband. Derek's eyes went wide. Recordings? That's impossible. Technology is amazing these days, Mr. Martinez. Voice-activated digital recorders, very small, very clear audio quality. Derek Martinez, you're under arrest for fraud, conspiracy to commit murder, and elder abuse, Detective Morrison announced, pulling out handcuffs. Even with his hands still red and painful, Derek was cuffed to his hospital bed. In the next room, Detective Morrison's partner was reading Susan her rights. Susan Patterson, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder and insurance fraud. Jessica stood beside me, watching her mother and husband both being arrested. Dad, how did you know to record them? I put my arm around her shoulders. I didn't. I found that recording device after the fire department left. It must have been activated by all the commotion. Pure luck that it captured their conversation. It was a perfect lie, and Jessica accepted it completely. Over the next few days, the story exploded across Tampa. Local landscaper arrested in multi-victim con game made the front page. Derek's photo was everywhere. The neighborhood rallied around me with incredible support. I was seen as the ultimate victim. Derek was denied bail. The prosecutor found evidence of similar cons in 3 other states, making him a serial predator facing 25 years in prison. Susan was released on bail, but had to stay with her sister. I filed for divorce immediately, and thanks to the adultery and conspiracy charges, I kept everything. Most satisfying was watching Derek's other victims get justice. Margaret Chen sued for recovery. Patricia Williams pressed charges. Linda Foster got her truck back. Derek Martinez was finished. 2 weeks after the arrests, Jessica moved back home with me. Dad, I'm sorry I brought Derek into our family, she said quietly. You couldn't have known what he really was, sweetheart. Predators like Derek are experts at deception. Jessica smiled for the first time since the scandal broke. Thanks, Dad. I'm glad we have each other. Derek and Susan had tried to destroy our family, but instead they'd only made Jessica and me closer. Justice, as they say, was served. 6 months later, I stood in my kitchen making breakfast for Jessica, listening to the news anchor report Derek's sentencing. 28 years in federal prison for fraud and conspiracy across multiple states. Our morning routine had become comfortable and healing. Jessica was promoted to district supervisor, and I'd returned to Home Depot as a part-time consultant. Dad, Jessica said over coffee, I've been thinking about moving back into my own place soon. Maybe that apartment complex on Davis Islands. It's only 10 minutes away. That sounds perfect, sweetheart. I'd even become something of an unofficial counselor for women who've been conned by younger men. I'd helped 3 other families identify and stop similar cons. You're like a superhero, Jessica teased. Jim Patterson, defender of vulnerable women everywhere. Just a guy who learned the hard way how to spot a predator. That afternoon, I drove to Home Depot. My co-workers treated me with a mixture of respect and amazement. The story of how I'd exposed Derek and Susan had become legendary in our store. Jim, you're like something out of a movie, my assistant manager Carlos said. Using industrial superglue to catch cheaters? That's genius. Just problem solving, I replied. Same skills I use here every day. But privately, I was proud of what I'd accomplished. Derek Martinez had been a professional predator who'd hurt dozens of women. Susan had been willing to murder her husband of 38 years for money. They'd both gotten exactly what they deserved. That evening, Jessica and I sat on our front porch watching the sunset over Tampa Bay. It had become our favorite time of day. Peaceful, reflective, hopeful. "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Do you ever regret how everything happened, the way Derek and Mom were caught?" I considered the question carefully. "I regret that you had to see what you saw. I regret that our family was torn apart by their greed and betrayal. But do I regret that they faced consequences for their actions? No, not for a second." Jessica nodded. "I'm glad you feel that way, because what they did was unforgivable. The important thing is that we survived it. We're stronger now, and we know we can count on each other, always." As the sun set, I felt genuine contentment. Derek was in prison where he belonged. Susan was facing her own legal consequences. The women Derek had victimized were getting justice and support. And Jessica and I had built something stronger than what Derek and Susan had tried to destroy. Sometimes justice comes from the courts. Sometimes it comes from the community. And sometimes it comes from a 64-year-old retail manager who refuses to be anyone's victim. I'd learned that revenge, when served properly, doesn't just punish the guilty. It protects the innocent and builds something better from the wreckage. Derek Martinez thought he could destroy Jim Patterson's life. Instead, he'd only made it stronger, and that was the sweetest revenge of all. Sometimes life teaches us lessons in the most unexpected ways. My story isn't just another betrayal tale. It's about discovering that even in our darkest moments, there is a path to justice. When I found that tube of lubricant, I never imagined it would lead to exposing a professional predator who had victimized so many innocent women. The ultimate lesson here isn't about revenge. It's about protecting others and standing up for what's right. Like many stories passed down through generations, this tale reminds us that wisdom comes with age. And sometimes the quiet ones are watching more carefully than anyone realizes. Derek Martinez thought he could manipulate older people because he underestimated our experience and determination. What I learned is that Providence works in mysterious ways, giving us the tools and knowledge we need exactly when we need them. My 40 years in retail management, my understanding of chemicals and electronics, none of it was coincidence. Every skill I developed was preparation for the moment when I needed to protect not just myself, but Jessica and all of Derek's other victims. These betrayal stories always end the same way. Truth eventually surfaces, and justice prevails. The most important lesson is that family bonds, when tested by fire, either break completely or become unbreakable steel. Jessica and I chose steel. If this story touched your heart or reminded you of your own experiences with betrayal and justice, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever had to stand up to someone who underestimated you? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more incredible true stories of courage, justice, and family bonds. Your support helps us bring these powerful narratives to life.